everyone and welcome to Mindful Learning. And here are 15 Stoic principles to live by for mental strength, clarity, and a more fulfilling life. Accept the things you cannot change and change the things you can. This principle, popularly known as the Serenity Prayer, and attributed to Lutheran theologian Reinhold Niebuhr, encourages individuals to focus on what they can control and let go of what they cannot control. This principle is also about being mindful of our thoughts and actions, and recognizing when we are wasting energy on things that we cannot control. By learning to focus on what we can control, we can reduce our stress and anxiety, and increase our ability to make positive changes in our lives. The key to happiness is freedom, and the key to freedom is courage. This principle, attributed to the philosopher Thucydides, emphasizes the importance of being courageous in the face of challenges and to strive for personal freedom. Freedom, in this context, refers to the ability to make choices and live life on one's own terms without being constrained by external factors, such as societal expectations, fear, or oppression. When we are free, we can make decisions that align with our values, passions, and goals, which leads to a sense of fulfillment and happiness. Achieving freedom requires us to step out of our comfort zones, take risks, and face our fears. This is where courage comes in. Courage is the willingness to act in spite of fear, uncertainty, or danger. It is the quality that enables us to overcome obstacles and pursue our dreams. In other words, freedom is the end goal, but courage is the means to achieve it. Without courage, we may be too afraid to take the necessary steps to gain our freedom. And without freedom, we may be unable to find true happiness. We must have the courage to fight for our freedom and the freedom to live our lives in accordance with our own values and desires. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. With this principle, Epictetus highlights the importance of maintaining a sense of perspective and not allowing external events to dictate one's emotional state. He emphasizes that individuals have control over their own thoughts and reactions, rather than being controlled by external circumstances. By focusing on one's own attitudes and reactions, individuals can maintain a sense of inner peace and resilience, regardless of the challenges they may face. Additionally, this principle suggests that one's happiness and well-being are not dependent on external factors, but rather on their own perspective and mindset. By taking responsibility for their own reactions, individuals can actively shape their own experiences, rather than being passive victims of their circumstances. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This quote by Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, suggests that the best way to respond to an injustice or injury is not to seek revenge, but to maintain one's integrity and to not let the actions of others affect one's character. This quote is also suggesting that the best revenge is not to seek revenge, but to be the best version of ourselves. By focusing on our own personal growth and development, we can rise above the actions of others and prove that their behavior does not define us. The obstacle is the way. This principle, popularized by Ryan Holiday in his book of the same name, suggests that instead of seeing obstacles as hindrances to our progress and goals, we should view them as opportunities for growth and development. This principle teaches us to shift our perspective and to look for the positive aspects of a difficult situation, and to turn our adversities to our advantage. It's also worth noting that this principle is not about ignoring the negative aspects of the challenges, but to focus on the positive or what can be gained from it. Rather than dwelling on the problem, it encourages us to look for solutions and take action. Happiness is the only good. The time to be happy is now. The place to be happy is here. The way to be happy is to make others so. This quote, attributed to the Stoic philosopher Robert G. Ingersoll, suggests that happiness is the ultimate goal in life, and that it is important to strive for happiness in the present moment, rather than waiting for it in the future. Finally, the quote suggests that one can achieve happiness by making others happy. This idea aligns with the concept of altruism, which is the belief in or practice of selfless concern for the well-being of others. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Skillful pilots gain their reputation from storms and tempests. This quote by Greek philosopher Epictetus suggests that the greater the difficulty, the greater the potential for glory and personal achievement in overcoming it. He is emphasizing that the true test of an individual's character and abilities is not in calm and easy times, but in the face of adversity and challenges. By facing and surmounting difficulties, we have the opportunity to demonstrate our strength, skill, and determination, and to gain recognition and respect from others. A man who fears suffering is already suffering from what he fears. This quote by Michel de Montaigne, a French Renaissance philosopher, suggests that fear of suffering is just as debilitating as suffering itself. When we fear something, we tend to focus our thoughts and energy on that fear, which can create feelings of anxiety and distress. Montaigne is emphasizing that when we are consumed by fear of suffering, we're not living in the present moment and enjoying our lives as they are. The instant our thoughts divert from the present and start fixating on worries and fears of the future, we detach ourselves from our true state of awareness. To cease our suffering is to let go of the mind's illusion of past or future. The more we value things, the less we value ourselves. This quote by martial artist, philosopher, and actor Bruce Lee suggests that as we place more importance on external things, such as material possessions or societal status, we begin to place less value on ourselves. Bruce Lee believed that an excessive focus on external validation can lead to a loss of personal identity and self-worth. He believed that individuals should focus on developing themselves and their personal values, rather than seeking validation from external sources. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Another important principle from Epictetus, this time encouraging us to practice active listening, which is the act of giving full attention to the speaker, and being mindful of our own speaking. This quote also implies that listening is a more important skill than speaking. It suggests that by listening attentively, we can gain a deeper understanding of the world around us and the people we interact with. It also implies that by speaking less and listening more, we can avoid misunderstandings and conflicts. The best way to predict the future is to create it. This principle, often attributed to Abraham Lincoln, suggests that instead of passively waiting for things to happen, individuals should actively work towards creating the future they desire. By taking initiative and making things happen, one can have more control over the direction their life takes and ultimately achieve their goals. The only thing that is constant is change. This principle, attributed to the Greek philosopher Heraclitus, suggests that change is a fundamental aspect of life, and that it is something that one must come to accept and expect. It emphasizes the idea that nothing stays the same and that everything is in a state of constant flux. This idea is reflected in Heraclitus' core philosophy, which centers around the concept of impermanence. He believed that everything is in a state of constant change and that one should embrace this change, rather than resist it. The quote encourages individuals to be adaptable and open to new experiences, rather than clinging to the past or fearing the future. Ultimately, it serves as a reminder to be present in the moment and to make the most of the opportunities and experiences that come with change. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. This quote, attributed to Franklin D. Roosevelt, encourages individuals to overcome limiting beliefs and to have faith in their ability to achieve their goals. It suggests that the only thing holding us back from achieving our dreams and reaching our full potential is our own doubts and fears. These doubts can manifest in a variety of ways, such as fear of failure, lack of confidence, or a lack of belief in our own abilities. However, by recognizing and addressing these doubts, we can push past them and achieve great things. This quote encourages us to have a positive mindset and to believe in ourselves and our abilities. It reminds us that we have the power to shape our own future and that our potential is limitless. Furthermore, this quote also highlights the importance of taking action in the present moment. Instead of dwelling on our doubts and fears, we should focus on taking small steps towards our goals and working towards achieving them. It is important to remember that progress is not always linear, and that setbacks and failures are a natural part of the process. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. This quote, often attributed to Edmund Burke, reminds individuals that if good people remain passive and do not actively resist evil, then evil will inevitably triumph. This is because evil only needs to exist and be allowed to flourish, while good needs to be actively pursued and defended. The quote also implies that everyone has a responsibility to stand up against injustice, and that indifference or apathy is a form of complicit in the triumph of evil. It highlights the importance of individual actions and the power of collective efforts in making a positive impact in the world. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. This principle, attributed to Socrates, suggests that true wisdom comes from acknowledging the limitations of one's own understanding and being willing to learn and grow. By recognizing that there is always more to know, individuals are more likely to be curious, ask questions, and seek out new information and perspectives. This approach to learning and growing can lead to greater understanding and insight, as well as a more well-rounded and educated individual. Additionally, by accepting that one knows nothing, individuals are less likely to become arrogant or dismissive of others' ideas and opinions. Instead, they are more likely to listen, consider, and learn from others, which can lead to more meaningful and productive conversations and relationships. Overall, this quote encourages individuals to approach learning and growth with an open, humble, and curious attitude, which can lead to greater wisdom and understanding.